Hello my lovely readers, what's up and welcome to my channel. So from the very title it is clear that today I'm going to discuss about King Lear by William Shakespeare. So King Lear is one of the most important as well as the most famous tragedies by William Shakespeare. So actually King Lear is quite important for your exam. Those who are dealing with English literature, it doesn't matter you are doing graduation or masters, but still you have to know that King Lear will be in one of your syllabus. So that's why knowing about King Lear is quite important, because William Shakespeare is well celebrated writer as well as playwright as well as dramatist. That's why we have to know each and everything about William Shakespeare. So that's why in this session I'm going to discuss a full, clear and easy summary of King Lear by William Shakespeare. And if you know the summary of King Lear, then you will be able to answer all the questions of King Lear. Okay, so now let's start. So in the tragedy King Lear, William Shakespeare has presented two stories that are intertwined with each other. So there are two stories, but both the stories are related to one another. Okay, so the first story represents the King of Britain story, whose name is Lear, and who is better known as King Lear. So the first story is the story of King Lear, and another story is the story of the Earl of Gloucester. And at the end of the tragedy, both the stories became interrelated or intertwined. Okay, so at first we have to know about, or firstly we have to know about the story of the King of Britain, whose name is King Lear. So King Lear in this tragedy has presented as a old king who was planning to retire. Okay, so that's why, as he was planning to retire, that's why he wants to divide the entire kingdom of him among his three daughters. And he will divide the kingdom on the basis that how much his daughters love him. And that's why he decides to know that how much his daughters love him. So he has three daughters. One is Gonaril or Goneril, another one is Regan, and the last one is Cordelia. So these three daughters are asked to prove their love for the King Lear. Okay. So now we have to do one thing, that Goneril and Regan are married. Okay, but Cordelia is still unmarried. So Goneril is the Duchess of Albany and Regan is the Duchess of Cornwall. So both Goneril and Regan, they started to express their love in a flamboyant manner, in a lavish manner. But Cordelia remains silent all the time, and she says that she has no words to express how much she loves her father. So, friends, it is obvious that when you love someone, then you don't have any word to express your love. For example, we all love our father and mother. But if someone asks you to express your love for your father and mother, then you can't express the feeling, the love in words. So that's why in the case of Cordelia, she was unable to express how much she loves her father. And among the three daughters, Cordelia was the one who loves her father very much. That's why she don't have any word to express her love. But this silentness of Cordelia infuriates King Lear, and out of anger, King Lear disowns Cordelia. So Cordelia has now no right to the property of King Lear, but still the King of France, who was present at the court of Lear, wants to marry Cordelia, and Cordelia also agreed. So after all these things, King Lear divides his property equally between his two daughters. One is Goneril and the other one is Regan. So after this, within some time, King Lear realizes that he committed a huge mistake by dividing the property of his kingdom to Goneril and Regan. Because now Goneril and Regan started to suppress the authority, the little authority of King Lear. So, friends, it is clear that as King Lear is now retired, but still he was the former king of that kingdom. That's why he has a little authority in the kingdom. Okay, and his authority in the kingdom actually matters. But his two daughters, Goneril and Regan, started to suppress this little authority. So now King Lear feels betrayed and he starts losing his sanity. He starts losing his mental state, mental stability. And now he started to curse his two daughters and decides to flee his kingdom. And thus, in one day, he steps outside into the storm. And when he was going outside, then he was accompanied by two companions. One is Fool, and other one is the Earl of Kent, who was disguised as a nobleman named Caius. So, friends, this was the story of King Lear, and now we have to know about the story of the Earl of Gloucester. So, after presenting the story of Lear, Shakespeare has presented the story of the Earl of Gloucester, who has two sons. One is his legitimate son named Edgar, who was the elder son, and then there also we know about the story of another character whose name is Edmund, who was the illegitimate son of Earl. So Earl of Gloucester and his elder son named Edgar, who was the legitimate son of Earl of Gloucester, became the victim of a conspiracy that was hatched, that was planned by the younger son of Earl of Gloucester, who was the illegitimate son whose name is Edmund. Okay. So, as Edgar is the legitimate son, so according to the law or according to the custom, it is obvious that after Earl of Gloucester, his kingdom will directly go to Edgar because he was the legitimate son. But now, as Edmund is the illegitimate son, he knows that he will disowned by the throne, and he is quite infuriated for this reason, and as his eyes were on the throne, that's why he tried every stone possible to get the throne of the Earl of Gloucester. Now, Edmund started to create differences between Gloucester and Edgar so that he will become the only one inheritor of the Earl of Gloucester estate. So now what Edmund does is Edmund makes Gloucester believe that Edgar is trying to kill him. But there was actually no such things. Edmund was started to make differences between Gloucester and Edgar. And on one hand, as I said before that, on one hand, Edmund makes Gloucester believe that Edgar is trying to kill Gloucester, and on the other hand, Edmund told Edgar that Earl of Gloucester means their father has found out a crime of Edgar and he was looking for Edgar to punish him. So after listening this, Edgar becomes so scared and he escaped the house and he started running towards the countryside. He flees out from his father's kingdom. Okay. And in the countryside, he disguised himself as a mad beggar. So after some time, Earl of Gloucester learns about King Lear, who was in a miserable state. And now Earl of Gloucester tries to help King Lear to regain his sanity or mental stability. So after listening that King Lear was losing his mental stability, then Earl of Gloucester tries to help Lear to regain his mental stability or sanity. But Earl of Gloucester's illegitimate son named Edmund gets to know about this somehow. And he, in order to punish his father, means Earl of Gloucester, Edmund joins hands with Regan, who was the daughter of King Lear and the Duke of Cornwall. So Regan was the wife of the Duke of Cornwall. And now in order to punish or in order to somehow punish or torture his father, he joined hands with Regan and Duke of Cornwall. Okay. So all of them make Earl of Gloucester blind, and all of these traitors means Edmund, Regan, Duke of Cornwall, they forced Earl of Gloucester to move towards the countryside apart from his kingdom. Okay. So now Gloucester meets Edgar. So now Gloucester meets his legitimate son Edgar. Edgar was the one who brings out Gloucester from the storm and leads him to one place named Dover. And in the place called Dover, they met King Lear. King Lear, okay? So friends, as we all know that Cordelia marries to the King of France, that's why she is now the Queen of France. And now Cordelia leads the French army and they all land to the place named Dover to rescue King Lear. So Cordelia is the daughter of King Lear, as you all know, and Cordelia loves her father very much. And now Cordelia tries to rescue her father, tries to regain the sanity of her father, and she tries to restore her father's authority to his kingdom again. Okay, so now Earl of Gloucester's illegitimate son, whose name is Edmund, he led his troops to reach Dover and to battle with the French army. So that's why Edmund led troops reached Dover to battle out the Cordelia led French armies. And in that battle, Cordelia and her French armies are defeated, and then Cordelia and King Lear are made prisoners of Edmund. And as Cordelia and King Lear are the prisoners of Edmund, so Edmund secretly orders for the execution of Cordelia and Lear. In the meantime, Goneril and Regan see that Edmund is the sole heir, sole inheritor of the Earl of Gloucester's estate. And now both the sisters, means both the daughters, Goneril and Regan, both the daughters of King Lear, tries to get romantically closer to Edmund. And in an attempt to seek the complete attention of Edmund, Goneril poisons Regan. So Goneril poisons her own sister in order to get attention, the full attention of Edmund. After this, Goneril also kills herself because Goneril's husband, whose name is Albany, learns about her affair with Edmund. So after this, Edgar, who was the legitimate son of the Earl of Gloucester, he duels with Edmund, and Edgar killed Edmund. So, as we all know that before the death of Edmund, Edmund secretly ordered for the execution of Cordelia. So now, as Edmund was dying, then he was repenting for his misdeeds, and he was trying to take back his order, and he was saying to not to hang Cordelia, but this was too late because at that time Cordelia was hanged. Now King Lear is now realizes that Cordelia was the one who loved him the most, who loved him the much among his three daughters. And now he holds her body and realizes her love for him. And thus King Lear dies in despair. After seeing this, King Lear's companion, whose name was Kent, he also dies in order to follow King Lear after life. And now both Albany, who was compassionate to King Lear, and now Albany, who was compassionate to King Lear and who was the husband of the elder daughter of King Lear named Goneril. So Albany now voluntarily passes the responsibility of the country to Edgar. And now at last the Earl of Gloucester's noble son Edgar becomes the king of Britain, and he assumes the throne with an aim to bring back order to Britain.